Hey, this is Chavo Guerrero Jr., and you're listening to Pro Wrestling for Life.
Welcome to Pro Wrestling for Life, everyone. I am your host, two-time WWE Hall of Famer, X-Pac. Hey, I'm going to bring in Nick Houseman, my co-host right now. What's up, Nick?
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much for having me back, man. Episode 2. I think we nailed it. Episode 1. We have a high bar to get over here.
Yeah, very high bar.
Yeah, very high. If there's anybody who knows about high and you know, I don't want to say bars because different man now, you know.
Rim shot.
But no, Sean, I'm stoked, man. We got a lot of great feedback on the first episode there with Rick and Justin Barrasso, and you know, we got a great lineup here today. I mean, in a little bit, fans are going to get to hear a part of your interview with Chavo Guerrero, two of the best cruiserweights. I think that people would argue of that era right there.
Yes. I enjoyed talking to Chavo because like it's been a long time. And what, you know, like I mentioned it in the conversation, you might hear part of me say like we travel up and down the road with each other unless we're in a car, you know, like driving for hours. A lot of times we never get to have conversations that long.
Yeah.
You know, like sitting in the locker room, you're talking to a lot of different people. And it's just like when I really think about it, not as many of those long conversations, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting because you guys kind of roll in like similar circles now because you're like in Hollywood and have Hollywood friends. And he's very, very active, obviously, in Hollywood right now as well.
Yeah, sure. Except for like, he's actually in the film and TV industry, right? Like, and I'm just kind of, you know, I live in Hollywood.
Of Hollywood. Got it.
Yeah. Right. And I go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset. Anyways.
Okay, cool. Well, I understood none of those references, but someday I will. Well, after that, obviously, we're going to get the latest journalist on here, notable journalist to talk to you about part of your career. This week, we have Busted Open Radio's David LaGreca in the house, and you guys have an awesome conversation about the night that DX invaded WCW.
Yes. And, you know, the thing I like about this combo with Dave is, you know, I've talked about that night before, but, you know, during my conversation with Dave, like, you know, it brought up some new things like that, you know, I might not have mentioned before when I was told the story, you know, in the past. So
yeah,
I hope everyone enjoys it.
Well, you know, last week we ran the poll. I think you were surprised. It was like pretty 50-50. People were really as interested in hearing the kind of retro storytelling as they were to hear you talk to somebody like Ric Flair. I know that kind of surprised you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Nate came up from behind though and eked out the win.
Yeah,
if I had to guess. But it was still like, I was like, oh my God, people really want to hear me talk about that stuff still.
We got a lot of stories to tell, a lot of road to hoe. And like the end of this show ends with, I think, the best piece of content that we've really, I mean, the Rick Chavo, we got another huge interview next week. We'll reveal later. I mean, that stuff is all wonderful, but the tic-tac-toe hold that you host that's going to end the show here today, I think it's the best thing we've done, Sean. The best thing you
really?
I do.
Wow. I mean, I believe you're not bullshitting me right now. It was fun. It was fun doing it, you know, but you know, I just, you know, I'm hoping that people enjoy it as much as you and I did.
I hope they do. Well, the thing that is so great about this, Sean, is like the game is great, and we've got what is Gerard and EJ.
Yes.
And these guys are both people who are like, we have this $5 Patreon tier right now, and that's who we pick people from to come and play these games on now. So they're part of the community, and this is like one of the ways we're coming up with for you to get to engage, you know, this Patreon community and give them these once in a lifetime kind of experiences. And being on Tic-Tac-Toe Hold, I mean, it's definitely an experience. It's it's a fun thing, you know?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but, and kind of, it's the same when I do meet and greets. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like, I really, really enjoy interacting with people, you know?
I know.
Yeah. It's great, man. Having that connection.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things about being me, honestly.
Just walking down the street. Oh my God, you're X-Pac, right? And people take
Yeah, crazy enough. Some people still like, even though like I don't look quite the same as I used to, you know, a little bit less hair and other things, but people still recognize me. It's crazy, Nick.
Well, you're very famous. So anyway, yeah, we're coming up with all these new experiences. And like, you know, if you like the Shabo interview here today, we always plan on recording for like 20-ish minutes for the show. And we've just been going long. So we're taking these much longer versions of the interviews. It's all just $5. You get the full-length interview. You get an ad-free version of this show in audio and video form. And Sean, I've been slowly over the past week, I'm moving all of the X-Pac 12360 content over to the Patreon. We have over 50 of your interviews there. They've been pulled from YouTube. They're only on the Patreon now. And dude, like the laundry list of people that you have talked to in the last 2-3 years, it's incredible, man. Your archives run deep, man. Very deep.
They do. They really do, right? Yeah. I mean, you name it, just about. You'll find them in there.
Oh yeah. So if you want these interviews, you want more interview content, you want more Sean, and we're gonna be rolling out more interactive opportunities here this month. It's just $5 over at the Pro Wrestling for Life Patreon page. All right. Well, we're done chilling. We're done. Let's talk about the news, man. We talk about how people they see you as a famous person. They want to get photos with you. What do you think about the celebrity influence this year at WrestleMania? How do you think Bad Bunny has carried himself so far?
Yeah. How did you know I wanted to talk about Bad Bunny?
I just felt it I felt it in my cockles, in my subloids. We were just connecting energy-wise, Sean.
It's the mind-to-mind communication.
It's the mind meld. Yeah. No. Yeah. What do you think about Bad Bunny, man?
Hey, so I think he's done. Like, you know, just speaking. I'm just going to comment on the stuff that they did on Raw. For us, it was last night.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, he was really good in that in-ring segment, is talking, you know, and some of it was in Spanish, but it wasn't too much. Like, he came out really, really well. And so did Priest. People already know I'm a big supporter of Damian Priest. So I'm a little bit biased, but my credibility's on the line as well. So I don't just like show for people that don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed it, man. If the thing is if I were them, I would not like just automatically assume that the people are going to pick Miz and Morrison as the heels and Bad Bunny and Priest as the baby faces. Like, I think there's going to be some mixed like reactions. I think some people are going to be with Miz and Morrison. Yeah, and it's not because they haven't done a really good job, but it's just, man, I just kind of, you know how people are these days, man.
Yeah, well, you know, and the other thing we wanted to talk about was the breakup of the Hurt Business, and kind of on that note, like I feel like the Hurt Business breaking up or the implosion or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you? First of all, what are your thoughts on what's?
I just don't get it, man. No? I don't understand it. I just don't understand the reasoning behind it. Those guys were good as part of, I mean, they're great just in general, Cedric and Shelton, but man, this really, you know, a new shot in the arm for them. And I just don't understand. Did you understand the reasoning? Was there a reason given?
Well, here's what I think is happening, because I think it plays into what you were just saying about Miz and Morrison maybe getting cheered. It's like you haven't had your product in front of fans for like a year, realistically. That's right. So look, as great as Lashley has been, and like fans like seem to genuinely be connecting with this guy. You know what I mean? Like if the end game here is that you want to give Drew McIntyre this big win over a heel at WrestleMania and get that moment back that he lost last year, this all kind of feels to me like we just want to load the deck as much as we can for people to make sure they hate Lashley. They want to boo this guy. That's the only logic I can put to it, you know? Okay.
I get that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it, you know, and it's not my show. I'm not the writers. I'm not the boss, you know, and, you know, different people have different visions, you know, man, not a fan of the decision, man. And I know from what I gather, those like most people involved weren't.
Yeah, no, it sounds like that, you know.
Yeah.
So would you like to see Lashley take this title then beyond WrestleMania? I mean, like I said, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that Drew takes this thing from Bobby, but I don't know what your pulse says on this thing right now.
Well, I mean, it might have been in the plans the whole time, and sometimes plans change. Who knows? So I wouldn't just automatically assume what's going to happen at WrestleMania between those two, because I just think this whole Bobby Lashley, Hurt Business title run, I think has been a success.
100%. Yeah.
And the only problem is it's like when you set Drew up, to where he has to come through, and then he doesn't, man, it might, take some of the wind out of his sails. Kind of like, you remember when we were talking about with Lex, I'm giving away something, and
you're giving away who our guest is. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
No, that's fine.
No, but seriously, when Lex didn't come through at SummerSlam '93, that hurt. You needed to. So I don't know if this is an exact comparison, but it might be an issue if Drew doesn't come through. Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, but I had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and Sean, you're a high level athlete. I mean, I'm sure you want to enjoy cereal, but you don't want to put, all that sugar and stuff into your system, right?
Yeah. And right these days, Nick, I'm really conscious about what I put in my body as far as food and everything. I try to eat a paleo or kind of a keto-ish type of diet, not super strict, but I'm just really mindful of it. And man, this Magic Spoon, man, I'm in heaven with this stuff, man.
I know you are. That's the thing is you told me, because we got this a couple days ago. You told me that you got the Magic Spoon and then you enjoyed it, and then it disappeared. Is that what you told me?
I literally just a couple minutes ago, I had to go upstairs and get this from where I hid it for my wife. I had to hide because my wife's just like me. She tries to watch what she eats, and similar diet to mine. And I came up and just about all my Magic Spoon was gone.
Yeah, dude.
Well, yeah, there was some serious heat in the household over that.
Well, we want to tell our sponsor, great sponsor, Magic Spoon. Yeah, we love the product. It won't ruin your relationship. I don't know if we can say that is a health anecdote, but it shouldn't. I mean, but yeah, I mean, this is really good stuff. I mean, great flavors at 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and only 140 calories a serving. That's really good, Sean.
For considering how it tastes,
dude,
it's amazing, Nick.
Yeah,
it's amazing, man. Especially if you haven't had any of this type of stuff in a while, if you're being pretty strict on your diet, and you don't cheat, man, you'll feel like you're cheating when you eat this. Honestly, you feel like you're doing something wrong when you eat it. It's that damn good.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about how good it is for your diet. I mean, a keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, GMO-free. And what we got, Sean, is what everybody out there right now can try as well, the variety pack. So you get 4 different flavors. You get cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter, which is the one I have right now, and I've been munching on before we did this spot. Yes.
My favorite are the fruity ones. They're I'm not going to tell you what brand cereal. I don't want to name, can I name up Fruit Loops?
Sure,
it tastes a lot like Fruit Loops, man.
Okay, got it.
Made just as good.
Yeah.
Just as good. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, man. Yeah. And they told us in the copy here to try putting the cocoa and the peanut butter together and make your own kind of mix cereal.
Did you do it?
Oh, I did it, Sean. And it's really good. It's
Nice.
just a peanut butter cup, you know?
Nice. And like I don't drink milk anymore. So like I either use like an almond milk or like earlier I used oat milk with it. So and it's amazing. Even with like almond milk, oat milk, cashew, any of that stuff. So like yes, man. If you're like if you don't use dairy, like just throw some coconut milk or almond milk in there with it. It's amazing. Anyways, so anyone that's listening or watching right now wants to give Magic Spoon a try, I highly recommend it. If you do, go to magicspoon.com/pro. That's magicspoon.com/PRO to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code PRO, PRO, at checkout to save $5 off your order.
Yeah. $5, man. Gone. Yep. Off of it. You get to try it and it's $5 gone. You don't even need it. Bro.
And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked.
Man. That's good. That's customer service I can believe in, Sean.
Yep. And remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/PRO and use the code PRO to save $5 off.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, we want to thank you again, Magic Spoon, for coming on and sponsoring Pro Wrestling for Life.
I love Magic Spoon. Like, this isn't just, hey, it's not just we have a sponsor. Like, I legit love this shit, man. It is so good. I hope everyone gives it a shot.
You know, because you're coming from WWF at the time and WCW, and now I didn't see it too much because I was just working my way up to the ranks. But you know, Eddie, Benoit, Malenko, those guys were really established guys. They were pretty good, and they wanted to move up the ladder, and they weren't allowed to. You know, not that weren't allowed to. Look, you had guys.
Yeah, but you know, the people that are there, that's just how it goes. Always you try to, you know, even if it's not like consciously trying to hold people down, you're trying to hold on to your spot, right?
Exactly.
So that's what happens.
I don't blame anybody. It just, that's the way WCW was. WCW was like certain guys worked with certain guys and everybody else, you know, kind of worked with everybody else. You were awesome because you worked with everybody. You worked with you know, but see, you saw, and that's, you know, and then one thing I said about Bret Hart. So Bret, when he came in as the man from, you know, after the screw job and everything from WWE, WWF came into Nitro, and everybody had their own dressing room. We had, you know, Hogan and you know, Hall and Nash had theirs. You know, Goldberg has his, Lex and Sting had theirs. Well, Bret came in and he's, you know, if anybody could have had his own dressing room, it was Bret. Bret, he dressed with us, all of us in our big dressing room. So years later, I asked him, I go, hey man, why didn't you get your own dressing room? And he goes, you guys were the ones having really good matches. I want to be close to you guys just in case we had to work. And I said, that's smart, man.
Hey, actually, Scott and Kev didn't have dressing rooms in their own contract. So what we did was, like, we would see Macho Man, like Hulk. We would just go in theirs.
That's awesome.
And they wouldn't say anything. So, like,
you guys, and that's one thing, you know, like I love about Kev and Scott, that they just did what they wanted to do. And that was when wrestling was still wrestling, you know, and it was awesome, man. I as many times as I wanted to break a bottle over Scott Hall's head, I still look back at it and go, man, it was cool because those guys, man, they did it their way. I learned a lot from them.
Yeah. I was just still thinking about the match we had with Scott on the floor. Look, man, you're talking about me working with everybody. I like to have a match with everyone.
Right. Me too.
You know, because it was important to me. Like, some guys would just go out and it was like, okay, it's a get over match. And they would just go out and old school, like, no, man, that's boring and it's not entertaining TV.
No,
So it was always really important to me to make the match entertaining,
yeah, the years of the WWF Superstars show that was just squash
Yeah.
matches all the time, that was over, you know. So I always wanted to have at least some kind of match in there. You know, I get it. You got to build some people sometimes, and if someone's going for the belt, you know, the guy's got to look strong. But you know, I love to have matches with people, and actually, we're good workers. We're able to, you know, you're a great worker. You could have a match with anybody, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I
You
just
know.
it was, and I think kind of I was talking to Flair the other day,
Mhm.
and it reminds me of his TV matches. He was one of those guys that, like, he would go out there with Mike Jackson or like any
Right.
of those guys, like, and Mike Jackson was great in the ring
Right.
and stuff,
Right. Right.
but I'm saying, like, he would put his foot on the ropes to pin the guy, like he was just like, like, and he would give them stuff, and
Flair, man, bro. I remember watching Flair as a kid and being in the dressing room and watching him in different territories, and I was convinced whoever he was wrestling was going to beat him, and to the last second
Yes.
he'd pull it out. Every single the hour Broadway, right? The hour they, you know, they had the, you know, the very last second. I remember, and I asked Scott. I asked Rick about this, and he remembered the guy's name. So there was a guy named Scott something in the Florida territory, and he had a real good body, kind of a shorter guy, kind of a little bit bigger nose, but in the Florida territory. I don't remember
Scott McGee.
Scott McGee.
Yeah, I was there. He put him over, and then he worked around the horn with him.
Right.
Yeah.
So Scott, he was supposed to work Dusty or something like that, and Dusty was hurt or something happened. So he worked Scott. I was convinced Scott he had it, and the very last second, I think Rick put his foot on the ropes or whatever.
You were there?
Yeah.
Oh, because
My dad and Hector. My dad and Hector.
See, because like I was around then too. I was going to ask you about that because I remember Eddie being around. I used to see Eddie as a young guy, like with Hector and your dad. And you were there too. I was going to ask you if you were around for any of that.
Yeah. So this is the story with that is that, so, Eddie and I grew up with that wrestling ring in our backyard, and we wanted to be wrestlers, and that was it. There was no, anything else that we wanted to do. We always just wanted to be wrestlers. And it wasn't for the fame or money or whatever. It was just because that was what we did. That's what the Guerreros did. We were just wrestlers. We didn't even think about anything else that came along with it. So Eddie and I, in the summer of '84, we went and spent the whole summer in Florida Championship Wrestling with my dad and Hector, because they were tag teaming as the Alamo Busters or something. So we spent just about 2 months. I was just going into my freshman year. Eddie was like maybe his senior year. So I was like 13, 14. He was 16, 15, 16, and we wanted to be wrestlers before, but then we spent the entire summer with my dad and Hector, and we would steal their beer, and they'd take us to town, and we had our own little rats in every little town too. Bro, after that summer, there was no way we weren't going to be wrestlers.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. That's why I fell in love with was that era of Florida wrestling. I imagine I bumped into you around there. I just didn't even know it.
I'm sure. When that was when Barry was there, right? Barry and a young Kendall was just kind of hanging around here and there, right? Kendall Windham. God, there was some Mike Graham and Black Bart and Ron Bass.
Like I remember your dad and Hector used to work, like they would have a U.S. tag title feud with like Billy Jack and Wahoo. Guys like that. And,
hey, you were there. You were in the audience, right? In Tampa, I think it was Tampa.
When your dad shit his pants?
When he shit his pants, yeah, you were there, right?
I didn't want to ask you about it. I was like, how do I bring that up?
No, yeah, totally. I was there too, and was I there? Yeah, I was there, and I remember. And there's my dad has a picture of. I found it somewhere, but has an actual picture of it. You were there. That's awesome.
I don't know how many people know that story. Is that a famous story?
Well, yeah, because I mean, every one of us has done it some way, but
I know I have.
Yeah, but he really did. I mean, you could see it, through both, old school tights, where it was the tights and the trunks over them,
Yeah. So, and they were like gray, right? They were gray tights. Yeah.
They're just solid gray tights. Yeah. And he got slammed by Billy Jack or something. And, Billy Jack was so strong, gassed up, and just threw him through the mat. And sure enough, boom. He's walking around with a big stain on his ass.
Wow. That's so funny, man.
I
I'm
know,
glad
right?
you brought that up.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Hey, so sorry, I'm having a little brain
No,
fart here, but
yeah, no worries.
so like when I went back, I got fired, all that, and I went back to WWE.
Which time? Right?
Actually, technically, I only got fired once.
Really?
Yeah,
You switched companies like 15 times. What the heck?
yeah. Like, so when I left WWF to come to WCW,
Right.
like originally I was supposed to be the first guy, but I
Yeah.
let my contract roll over.
Yeah.
You remember how they had those 90-day? You had to give your notice 90 days before your contract was up, or it automatically rolled over.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That happened to me. So I ended up like I was stuck there, right?
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
so, and then like I ended up having to go to rehab, and
Yeah.
I was just a mess. And so I give like I'm grateful to Eric, man, because like after that, like my stock, just coming out of rehab, it's not like he still gave me a decent deal, and
Right.
he had to come in. So but Eric's the only one that technically ever fired me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He I learned a lot from Eric, man. And there was
I
times
like Eric.
I like Eric a lot too. I've worked with him on different projects after wrestling, to be honest. But as much as I didn't like it, because he'd check you sometimes, especially the younger guys.
Oh, I didn't like him at the time. I like him now.
Yeah, well, he would let Lex get away with certain things, and Hall and Nash, of course, and we, of course, couldn't, and he'd check us on certain things. As much as I didn't, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him. I really did. And he's a smart guy. You start talking about wrestling, guy, he's got a pretty high wrestling IQ.
I tried to have a relationship with a lot of different guys, not just hang out with
of course,
Kevin Scott. Like we would have afterwards, we would have like get-togethers, and like all the luchadors would come up, and we'd all
right,
whatever.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Totally. We had a great time, but like I was oblivious because we were just doing our thing, and we were like getting our way, and life was great for us. Man, honestly, Chavo, I was oblivious to the resentment that there might have been like in the locker room for us, man. And I understand it now. I get it.
There wasn't, at least with us, there wasn't really too much resentment towards you. You were always super cool, and we saw what it was. There was a little resentment at times to Big Kev, and now me and Kev we're close. I mean, we hang out totally. He's a good dude. But there was times, because I get it now, because I wasn't in their spot. They came in, they were fighting for their spots too, and they were battling the powers that be, and they're battling whoever it be, whether it be Hogan or Mach or whatever, and they're just trying to get their thing. So I get why they're disgruntled a little bit in their thing.
Yeah.
So at this time, it was different back then, man. I wasn't privy to what they were going through, so
sure.
now as we get older and older in business, now it's like it doesn't matter. Everybody was cool, and whatever. I get it now.
Yeah, well, I felt like everyone was way cooler to me, maybe us in general, but I can only speak for myself.
Right.
Then we were as a roster to you guys coming in after WWE bought WCW, and then that kind of the rosters got combined. Right. And like, how did that feel, man, coming in the door like that? Did you feel like, oh, everyone's like waiting to jump on you for any freaking thing you do?
I didn't see it too much. I think because I had Eddie already there.
You're a Guerrero.
Yeah, possibly, but I didn't see it too much. I know I was still green and young, but one thing that Eddie did tell me, he's like, hey, man, I think Jericho told me too. He's like, anything you've done over there, remember, and I'd only been there 4 years, in the business, whatever. He said, that's gone. You're starting fresh here. It's a new audience. Do I get, yes, it's wrestling, but these guys have maybe not watched WCW, so they won't know what you're doing. So you get to start fresh, but you're starting fresh. There's a good and a bad. So I didn't get it too much. I was pretty good. I saw there was a lot of jealousies that people like, you know, DDP got it for sure, like Mike Awesome and those guys, those big dudes. But yeah, I didn't see it too much because
And I think maybe some of the ladies that came over with you
sure,
kind of had it tough too, man.
yeah, yeah. I
To be
mean,
honest with you.
look at Bagwell. I mean, you know, he beat the crap out of him, you know, and sometimes rightfully so with Mark. I love him to death, but you know, they, you know, you got to pay your dues a little bit again, and it is what it is, you know.
I got like Chubba, we had this mentality that we knew what we were doing, and like we try not to sound like a dick, but
No, tell
yeah,
me,
like you're saying, oh, what you did there doesn't mean anything. But like it's kind of true. That's kind of the
True.
mentality we had, whether
Yeah.
it was right or wrong. Like, you know, we thought, oh, we know what we're doing, and there's just, you know,
Right,
country
right.
club down there.
Well, you know, and you'd been there, so you know you got it. But it was kind of true, you know, when I went from WCW and then to WWF, I saw how a wrestling company should be run.
How
You
did
know,
that? Yeah, I was gonna. How is that? How was that for you coming in the door?
well, it was different because I saw the buck stopped with one guy. The buck stopped with Vince McMahon. What he said goes, and that's the way it was. There was really no boss in WCW. You know, even Eric had to answer to people. And then when Eric was gone, there was really no boss. You know, when Bill Bush came in and other people came in,
Yeah.
we didn't have a boss. I remember one time at Nitro, they held the show up. Maybe it was a not SmackDown, like Thunder or something, but they held the show up because you had uh, um, David
Flair?
Crockett, David
Oh,
Crockett,
Crockett.
David Crockett, head of production, right? He was arguing with booking, and they were arguing about something, and they stopped. They didn't even start the show for like 30 minutes late because they couldn't agree on what to do, and you know everybody was trying to, you know, there was a pissing contest basically, and I was like, God, these guys are acting like kids. There's people out there waiting to go. Let's start the show. So then when we got to WWF, you saw how a show is supposed to run. Remember
Yeah.
in WCW, everybody, all the departments kind of did their own thing. You know, yeah, I remember when with the girl that was a head of the merchandise, and she, you know, was saying hi to Nash, and Nash was like, "Well, why should I say hi to you? You've cost me
Wow.
hundreds of thousands of dollars." And she's like, what are you talking about?" She's like, "You should have had, I mean, if this was WWE, I would have made 100, you know, 200 more $1,000 because they would have pushed a certain, you know, a certain agenda and certain, you know, merchandise and stuff." So you saw it. And then going to WWF, that's, you know, that's the way it was. You know, certain people had it good, you know, if like Booker T and stuff, he comes in, he was respected, you know, he was,
Yes.
you all knew he was a good worker. He was, and he got even better and better. You know, guys like, you know, Eddie and Chris and stuff, they still had a, you know, they had to show what they're made of, you know, and they had to fit in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really did. But that's like anything. It's like going from a, you know, one football team to another football team. They don't care what you've done. It's like, let's see what what you're gonna do now.
Yeah. I want. Did it feel like you were being traded to another team, like against you, like kind of like an NFL player?
Uh
Like, hey, I got no say so in this. What the?
in a sense, you know, there was only 19 contracts picked up, remember, and I was one of them, thank God. So, but I was still young, man, and like I wasn't really worried. I was like, well, I just go to Japan. I'll go to, you know, naive. I'll go wrestle in Mexico, whatever. And you know, really, I could have been out of a job like a whole lot of people that never really wrestled again. You know, indie circuits weren't what they were now. You know, so we lucked out. We really lucked out going there and then being able to perfect my craft and get better and better and better. You know, it took me. It's funny because this business, it takes you. I when I did like do a seminar or something, I always tell people that this is such an art form. It takes 5 years to kind of know what you're doing, and another 5 to really know what you're doing. You don't.
And that's if you're working regularly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I told them. I go, I was working 300 days a year, you know, 280, 300 days a year, the highest levels there. It took me 5 years before I felt like I knew what I was doing, and then another 5. So that's, you're looking at 3,000 matches before I had people like, you know, Flair would stop me and say, "Hey, man, great match," or Stone Cold, "Hey, really good match." That's 10 years in. 10 years
Yeah.
before I really started getting the respect from my peers who really matter, you know. Fans, you know, sometimes we're just like, you know, they cheer you or boo you or whatever, but that, you know, your peers, that makes all the difference in the world.
that was always like the thing that meant the most to me. And I don't mean this as a slight to the fans,
Right,
because
of
like
course not.
I'm like incredibly grateful. I love them. I feel
Right.
like the connection with them, but it's
Absolutely.
just a different type of thing, man. Like when your peers respect you, man, it's
When
yeah,
you got like like your respect of your peers, when you walk in the locker room and you got guys who've been in the business for a long time and want to work with you because they see your work and they respect your work,
yeah.
that means a lot.
Like sometimes like if things aren't going well creatively, because like creative satisfaction is highly underrated. Like
Right.
to me, it's almost as important as the money,
Sure.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like
Absolutely.
when things aren't going for you well creatively, man, a
Right.
person can be miserable. And that the respect for your peers is sometimes one of the only things keeping you going, man.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they can pay you what you want, but if you're not happy, man, I mean, when I left wrestling, when I finally left WWE, I had wanted to leave for about 3 years before that. I just was not happy what was going on there. And but you got wife and kids and
Yeah.
mortgages and college funds and stuff. When I finally quit, I was so happy. I was so happy. Then you have to deal with going back to real life and that kind of stuff. But man, I was just like, oh, like a weight lifted off of me. And I had just gotten a raise. I had just gotten a
Yeah.
raise and I still quit. I was like, I'm done.
I just like I remember like after I left there, I hadn't seen you for quite a while.
Right.
And then I ran into you down in Mexico City, and you were the ECW champion. Was
Right.
it you? I think one time you were the ECW champion
Yeah.
down there, and one
Yeah.
time Matt Hardy was.
Yeah.
But
Maybe. Yeah.
but um, how was that for you, man? Was the ECW title run? How'd you feel about it?
That was I liked it because so Eddie and I when we were growing up, we always pretended we were the tag team champions of the world. We
Yeah,
always pretended we always would take my dad and my uncle Hector, Uncle Mondo's belts and pretend that we were the tag team champions. So when we actually became the tag team champions, we in Madison Square Garden of all places against
yeah,
it was like at a pay-per-view against Benoit and Angle and Ray and Edge. So it was like a three-way dance. But that was like pinnacle. We made it. Then we had to set other goals for ourselves. So we both made the goals of becoming heavyweight champions. Of course, Eddie became a WWE or whatever that name of that champion was, that chip on SmackDown. And then they had me starting to work in doing some stuff in ECW, and CM Punk was the champ there, and he asked to work with me. So I guess from what I understand the story, this is what I'm hearing from Jericho knew the ins and outs. Originally, they were going to put the belt on Shelton Benjamin,
yeah.
and Vince changed his mind and said, Chad was having really good matches with Punk, and we're going to take the belt off of Punk, put him a different way, and keep him as a champion. So it was pretty cool, man. It was cool to see it, and then from there I worked with Kane and some other guys, and that was awesome,
Hey,
man.
so tell me, you talk about a challenge, right? Because you and I are like on the smaller side,
Right, right,
for WWE, man. I loved working with Glenn,
right.
with Kane.
So great.
He's my favorite partner, and
Yeah,
I really enjoy working with him,
right.
But man, were you the heel?
Yeah, yeah, man.
Man,
So the way that worked, when you first start working with Kane or with Taker, you just shut up and listen, right? Until they have a little confidence in you, and then you start interjecting, right? And then before you know it, sometimes just as a heel, they're letting you lead the match. So Kane, God, he and I, we got kind of really, really good together. That after and we just had some really good matches together. So when we got done, I got a really good compliment from Arn Anderson one time. And he's got his little gimp hand, and he comes over to
yeah,
you and he's like, "Ciao." He goes, "Junior, come here." He goes, "Do you understand that at first, when you first come out against Kane, they're like the size difference, and they're like, there's no way. But by the end of the match, they believe that you're going to beat them. They
yeah.
believe it because of they're chanting, and then he rises from the dead and finally puts you down." He goes, you guys got it going on. So that was really, really cool of Arn. I hear from Arn, but Glenn was just a pleasure to work with, man. He was so good.
But like on top of him already being, almost
Yeah.
7 feet tall and over 300 pounds,
Right.
he's doing that gimmick, man, where you just keep getting up. And so, like for me, the key to working with him and
Right.
guys like him was
Right.
figuring out creative ways for them to stop themselves.
Yeah. Well,
know?
anybody else, you want them to sell. Like if you and I were working, I'd get you down. Then you would sell, and then we'd start getting it. Well, they're a monster. Him and Take are monsters. They're not normal. So you have to stay on them. You cannot stop. You got as a heel in that match, you have to be in such great shape because you're bumping all over the ring for them. But then when they're selling, you got to stay on them.
Yes.
You can't stop, you know. And we had it to where, I mean, it was, you know, I was trying everything to get them down, you know, like in a normal match, I'm not going to show my size next to a big guy, but him, the very first thing I would do as soon as he walked in the ring, you know, I would stay up on the top rope until the bell. I would run right up to him and show the size difference. I mean, I barely went to his like belly button, basically.
Yeah.
I would show that, and the whole place would be like, oh, he would choke slam me. I'd drop behind and powder, right? And then it'd be the whole time like me trying to, like, I try to shoot him off the ropes. He'd hold on, pull me over the rope. Finally, he'd come back. I'd be on the ground. He'd reach over, grab me, yank me to the apron, turn around. I'd hot shot him. He'd come down. I'd dive on him. He'd catch me. God, we just had such great chemistry, man. Just the big man, small man. He really got it.
Yeah,
It
man.
was awesome.
But I wanted to bring that up because not a lot of people understand the challenge that
Mhm.
comes with being a heel on the smaller side and
Right.
having to do that with these bigger guys, man.
Well, everybody was bigger than us. You know, so
Exactly.
you had to do it no matter what. But I like that. I love the size difference, the underdog, you know, gets the big guy, and you know, I get what it was. I know what our job was. Our job was to, you know, make them. But the guys like that, guys like Kane, guys like Taker, they understood that they didn't have to bump you a million times. And other big guys, you know, sometimes that's all they wanted to do with like Ray or whatever, just bump him and bump him and bump
Exactly.
him. And that doesn't make any sense. If they're just bumping you and can't beat you, well then, you know, they're making a Superman. So
Yeah.
these guys understood the psychology, and just working with those guys was just, you know, it's such a pleasure, man. They're still two of my favorite opponents, you know, Batista, guys are big guys like that, you know. It was great.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us. Blue Chew. Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections.
That's what everybody wants, man. You want a strong, long lasting erection, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Long lasting erection.
Mm-hmm. And how?
So Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. And that's no lie, Nick. That's no lie, man. Like for me personally, Blue Chew, if I paid for Blue Chew, their full price, it's still way cheaper than like my prescription for it. And I have great health care with a great prescription plan. And me personally, like even with the deductible, I still save more money using Blue Chew. Swear to God.
Yeah, because you have a very specific issue. Like you've broken. Can I say this?
I got a broken ding-a-ling, everybody. And so one of the medications that like it's broken in two places. Yeah.
How do you break the penis? Sex?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Usually that's how it happens.
Okay, wonderful.
So yeah, no, and it's just like one of the medications they prescribe for me help, you know, get the blood flow going is Cialis. So that's why I choose the Cialis version of Blue Chew.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. If I ever break my dick, which is very possible, I have sex, you know.
It's a lot more common than you think.
Wow.
Yeah, and it sucks.
Okay.
My ding dong looks like it has scoliosis right now.
Okay, good to know. That's very
yeah. I'm sure my wife's really happy.
Well, that's awesome, man. So yeah, Blue Chew here. You know, tablets obviously they're helping give everybody harder, stronger erections, which is what you want, right? And you can go online to prescription service. So no visits to the doctor's office. You don't have to go there and weirdly be like, hey, I think my ding dong is broken, you know.
Right.
I get something for that? You bypass that conversation.
Yeah. A lot of people are real shy. They like it's really hard for a lot of people to talk about this type of stuff. Like I just don't care, man. I'll talk about just about anything. So, but I get it, man. Like, and I'm not reading up of the notes right now, but I know they do send it to you in discreet packaging.
Oh,
so like the mailman doesn't know you got erectile dysfunction issues.
Yes, exactly. It's not a box that shows up and says broken dick, right? That's not how that goes. No, I mean, you go up, you sign up over at bluechew.com, you consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you get your prescription within a couple days, and it's all done online. It's great.
Yep. The Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. No problem here, Nick.
Nope. Chew them up.
Yep. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil. Let me say that again. Sildenafil and tadalafil. Tablets are chewable.
Nailed it. Yeah. And they're made in the USA. And they prepare and ship directly, so of course it's cheaper than a pharmacy. And made in the USA.
Wow. I didn't know they were made in the USA.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right on.
All American boner. You want your flag to fly at full mast come 4th of July. That's all I'm saying.
My flagpole goes like this. Anyways.
So if you could benefit from a little extra confidence, go to bluechew.com. And there's more details and important safety information you'll take in then.
Yep. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code PRO. It's promo code PRO, P-O-R. Sorry. Promo code PRO, P-R-O, not P-O-R. Sure. Anyways, just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. Promo code PRO. To receive your first month free. And we thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring this show and for all the support you've given to the pro wrestling industry. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's time for the segment when I get interviewed by various journalists and hosts of other shows. And today, I'm honored to have with us Busted Open's Dave LaGreca. What's up, man?
How are you, man? This is an honor to be on your show. I can't believe this. This is awesome.
No, it's cool. I just like I've been wanting to do this for a while. Now that Nick had the same idea, so now we're doing it. Hey, man.
To work with Nick, you got to be the most patient person on the face of the earth, man.
More or less. Hey, well, same goes with me, actually. But hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And Dave, I appreciate always being good to me, being very supportive of everything on your show. Means a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is probably a moment in time that at that moment I was angry and frustrated that you were involved in was April 27th, 1998. And that's the DX invasion of WCW, because everybody who listens to Busted Open knows this. I'm an old school NWA guy, so I became a WCW guy. So when there was that Monday Night War, even though everybody watched anything everywhere, everything anyway, I was a WCW guy. So when you guys invaded Nitro like that, that was kind of like the death knell. That was like the wake up call. Like things are starting to slide here in the WWF's direction. Did you feel that way too?
When we got back from that, when we got back just in time for Raw to start.
Yeah,
we showed up and we almost went right from just getting back right into an in-ring segment when we're still wearing the camouflage stuff and everything. This is my memory of it. And we did the in-ring segment, killed it, and I remember Hunter looking at me and saying, "This is tide just turned."
Wow, that it really. As a fan, for me, it really felt that way too. So that's why I was interested to find out if you felt that way. And the one thing about it, going to, it was in Virginia, the Scope in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, And having all those fans, like here you are, you're on the opposing team, so to speak. This is like, a Washington fan going to Dallas and throwing, in your face that we're winning the game.
Yeah.
But the fans, it seemed like watching it on TV that the fans embraced that you were there.
Well, because we were right there, right in front of them, right? And they're wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Maybe they like WCW better or whatever, but they're caught up in the moment and want to be part, cameras looking at them. And you know how that goes, so we were very fortunate that we didn't have hostile fans outside.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that at all. As a matter of fact, you and Triple H were getting people to say that WCW sucked as they're waiting online to go to a WCW event. So that was really surreal.
So we and we also got them to say they got their tickets for free because there was on the marquee, there was another event that was taking place at this. Was it the Scope or were we at the Scope? Oh, no, they were at the Scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that event, they were giving away free tickets and it said free tickets. And so we had them splice the WCW and the free tickets thing together to make it look like they couldn't sell tickets.
Was there any fans at all there that were like anti-DX or anti-WWF? Was there like anybody that started kind of like some drama with you?
No, nothing. I mean, everyone was like you saw.
Yeah.
Like we didn't, there was nothing that like no confrontational, no one saying we suck, nothing like that. No one defending WCW. They just want to be part of the show.
That's crazy. When you're planning it, and again, this is an iconic moment. This is a moment, here we are, well over 20 years later that people still talk about. And if you were to make a list of, top 10 Raw moments, this is going to be on that list all time of one of the greatest moments in Raw history. Leading up to it, were you afraid of like that there was going to be some kind of people out there to stop you from it happening or anything like that?
I don't remember anyone even bringing up what might happen once we do this. Like the thing is though, is they didn't just tell us this is what you're doing. They brought us in and it was like a serious conversation about it and asked us if we were willing to do it. Because let's face it, that's a big thing. Especially like, nothing like that had ever happened before. And WCW is the only other viable employer as far as you want to go make good money. And, we're taking a chance on burning our bridges there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you're right. You couldn't, that was the only time that there was anything that was even comparable to the WWF. And, that's one thing. And I'm not knocking the current product because obviously I talk about it every day on Busted Open, but just having that creative freedom to be able to do what you guys were able to do and live in that moment with everything so dissected now and with everything kind of probably overproduced. I don't know if you could ever, replicate that moment again, that what you were able to do in '98.
No. You saw like the Young Bucks and them. Like I thought that was smart of them to do that. But it was, it had already been done.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Like, I take my hat off to those guys for doing it, but it was
already done.
It was something we already done. Yeah.
And it's hard in pro wrestling to do something that's unique and original because, like you said, things have been done and overdone throughout the decades and the generations, but you can never duplicate what you were able to do in the tank that day. And the one thing I went back and watched it before talking to you about it today. The one thing that didn't strike me at the time, but strikes me now, is how serious during that entire segment Chyna was. Like she never drew the character. She never smiled. Yeah, like everybody at some point was kind of breaking a smile or kind of breaking character a little bit. The entire segment, she had that same face on throughout beginning to end.
Yeah, you couldn't get her when she was on the job, when camera was rolling or like in a live event, you couldn't get her to. You couldn't get her to break character, crack a smile, nothing. Because people would try.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Oh, yeah. On house shows? Oh, yeah.
Couldn't do it. That's amazing. That's amazing to me. When you had that moment happen, and then you went back to Raw that night, and you mentioned about Triple H saying the tide is turning. Did you feel it even in the crowd? Did you feel the momentum start to turn? Like that was the moment where it's like, if you had to pick that one moment, and most people say like the Mick Foley championship win is like kind of what turned. Do you feel it was that day in the tank?
Absolutely. That was the moment. Now, okay, the Mick Foley title change took advantage of that momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
no, you are for sure.
But to me, like, I'm pretty sure that was the real moment that, okay, tide's turning. I just, that was it, man. You know, and the thing is, like, you didn't ask me about this, but it's been in my head since we started talking about this.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to go down the tunnel first so we could actually get in the building, you know, and I didn't say that because Bruce Pritchard was there and he was kind of producing everything.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, I'm pretty sure, like, looking back on it, they didn't want us getting in the building. WWE didn't, you know, because we could have. We could have walked in the front door, you know, because like the people like the taking tickets or whatever, you know, they just thought we were part of the show. I mean, we could have had them open the doors up for us and let us in. They probably wouldn't have known any better.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching it, it actually added to the mystique of it because people watching it on TV thought that you were being prevented from going in. So it's almost like you played it perfectly by not going in because that kind of just added, like, these are people to be feared. We can't have them coming in there. They're the enemy.
Yeah.
And another great moment there, too, is with, you know, obviously Scott Hall and Kevin Nash being a part of WCW, like you guys chanting, like, let my people go.
Yeah.
And fans of WCW are chanting, let my people go. And they're paying to see Hall and Nash that night on Nitro. It's phenomenal.
Well, that goes back to when I first showed the first night I showed up back after WrestleMania 14, and you know, in my in-ring promo, I said, you know, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would be right here if they weren't being held hostage by WCW, and we got sued over all that. And during the deposition, their lawyer asked, you know, well, why'd you say that? And I just told him the truth. I said, well, I was talking to Kevin and Scott the night before, and they said it would be a good idea. And he was like, oh.
That's hilarious.
And that's true. Yeah, 100% true.
So when you look at that moment, and listen, all the moments from DX, how much planning did you put into it? Like, how much conversations did you have? Or did most of this just happen on the fly?
Yeah, it was like that, Dave. Like, you know, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to show up and we'll do something like this. But we just went out and did it, you know. We just felt everything and just kind of went with the flow. And, you know, everything was organic. Even like, you know, like not to skip around in it, but like when we did the vignettes in New York City, we needed time to fill. Like I can't remember what happened, but like one of the episodes was like 20 minutes short or maybe 5 minutes short, something like that. And they needed time to fill. So we just went down. We didn't plan anything. We just walked around New York City and, you know, filmed, you know, they filmed us being dipshits, you know?
I mean, and I guess you probably heard this a lot, especially during that period. But for you personally, did you kind of feel like a rock star at that time? Like 97, 98, just like I'm the man. I'm like, you felt like a star?
Yeah. And that started, honestly, when I went to WCW, because, you know, I had the notoriety, 1, 2, 3 Kid, WWF, all of that. But when I went to WCW and joined the NWO, that was that first taste of like getting some of that rock star, big, mainstream celebrity feel, right? And wow, man, it was amazing. So yeah, and that just like for me, it grew even bigger. For me personally, when I was with DX.
Yeah. And like I'm a big football fan. So if you go to a Giants game, obviously not right now with the pandemic, but when things open back up, like when you go to a Giants game, people still wear the 56 jersey for Lawrence Taylor, even though he hasn't played in 30 years.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter where in the world you go to. You go into an arena, you're going to see an NWO shirt and you're going to see a DX shirt. Like
or maybe even one with both on it.
Yeah, well, dude, you got one, and you're scoring one with the DX and NWO, like, and that's the other thing too, man. Like, dude, you're in both. Like, you are in two of the most iconic factions in the history of pro wrestling. That's unbelievable to me. Like, because people talk about which one's better, NWO or DX. Like, you're involved in both of them. Like,
yeah,
it's so.
They were both pretty great. I mean, dude, let's be honest.
Yeah, man. I mean, I probably lean towards NWO, but I think more people, if you put up a poll, more people would probably lean towards DX. But man, it was just that time. Yeah. It's such a special time in the history of pro wrestling. Like, did you think, and I know this is a crazy question, but did you think in 2021, here we would be talking about DX and NWO all these years later?
Back then I didn't really project that far into the future. I was really enjoying living in the moment, man, because the moment was amazing. Every moment back then was amazing, man. It was like most incredible time of my life.
I can imagine. And you want to know something, dude? And I want to thank you. It was a wonderful time in my life to be able to watch you do what you do, because as a wrestling fan, especially at my age at that time, like it was perfect. And it was such a mature product at that time. Creatively, it connected the dots. Yeah. It had the cliffhangers where you wanted to watch each and every week. Like, I want to thank you for that special time for me as a pro wrestling fan, because it's iconic.
I was just honored to be a part of it. Like, I know that sounds kind of cliche, like stock answer to say to something like that, but man, it's the truth. Because all I ever wanted to do was just be in pro wrestling. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, even if it was the guy, jerking the curtain. I would have been grateful for that, just to be a part of the show, man. And so, like, to have done the things that I've done, and the things I've been a part of, and the people, the icons that I've rubbed shoulders with and been in the ring with, that were heroes and idols of mine growing up. I mean, man, nothing better, man. My life was amazing, even with all the crazy stuff that like the dozen years or so I wandered around in the darkness. Like, I have an amazing life. It's
but dude, those dark times make those other times that much sweeter, right? And especially you got to go through those, those losses, and all. You got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win. So,
I'm a better person now. I'm a way better person now. I promise you.
That's just life, man. And to go back to that moment, like in Virginia, with the tank, like you just said, you lived in the moment. Like everything was like in the moment. You weren't thinking of the ramifications or thinking about how this was going to be historic. But when you were on that tank, that had to feel differently than any other DX moment for you when you were on that tank going to Nitro.
Sure. Well, here's the funny thing. And the legend has it that, and the way the story is told, we showed up with the tank. It was actually a Jeep with the howitzer cannon on it, but tank sounds better.
It does. It just sounds cool.
But I don't know. Have you ever heard the part where when we actually fired the cannon?
Yeah.
And all the bands are around, and it was like, we're ready to fire the first shot, and we're waiting for this big, like, ready to, cover my ears. It was like poof, like a little popcorn fart.
Now, from everything I hear too, and you'll be able to tell me different because I know you're all friends and everything else. From what I hear, WCW wrestlers were actually watching Monday Night Raw and laughing at what you guys were doing that night.
I guess so. on my first episode of this new show, like I was fortunate enough to talk to Nate, and he said, "Oh, he was loving it. He was loving it," and I'm glad that like a lot of people were, because I mean, some people might have been like offended, like some of the boys, could have been like, "Oh, this is making us look bad," I'm happy that we didn't get confronted and end up in a physical altercation with our colleagues.
Well, were you ready for a physical altercation if it happened?
I mean, I guess we would have had to have been, but it wasn't even a thought. I mean, we had Billy and
some badasses.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, but come on, man. There was 4 of us. 5, I mean, we would have been screwed if that would have happened.
And I'm guessing too, it was kind of like a team effort, and that's a team that you'll always have for the rest of your life because of what you were able to accomplish.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like every single one of them. Like I love them all to death, man. Billy, but all Road Dog, everyone. Paul, just like I said, man. Like, and I said it in my DX Hall of Fame speech. It just was the time of my life, man. And I had it with them.
Well, congratulations on the Hall of Fame, a member of NWO and DX in the Hall of Fame, man. Dude, look at that, man. It's amazing. Congratulations. And again, April 27th, 1998. Thank you for that moment. Thank you for that memory. Look at this guy. Got sneakers and everything. I got to get myself a pair. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you for making me a part of this show, man. Congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm honored. Like I said when we first started this, man, honored to have you on.
Thank you, man.
Really
it's been my honor, man. This has been a pleasure, man.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tic Tac Toe. It was a massive hit last week, so we brought it back again. Anyways, now I'd like to introduce to y'all our contestants. First, he's coming to us all the way from Ireland. His name is Gerard Bowes. Give it up for Gerard Bowes, everyone.
Great.
What's up,
Hi, Sean.
man?
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming, man. Hey,
thanks for inviting me.
Oh, no, I'm happy to have you, man, especially all the way from Ireland. So everyone, Gerard right now is wearing one of Homage's 1, 2, 3 Kid shirts, the yellow one that some people might have seen me wear on Busted Open Radio. But anyways, it's a sweet-ass shirt you got there.
Thank you very much, yeah.
You're a little bit shy?
No.
A little nervous?
Maybe a bit.
All right. So,
Great
all right.
here,
Our next competitor, I believe he's coming to us from Chicago. Yeah, I'm actually positive of it. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to EJ Cameron.
Hey,
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
What's going on? Hey, I was correct, right? You're from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm in Chicago right now.
Right on. Hey, thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Hey, so I'm not sure if you guys watched last week's edition of Tic Tac Toe Hold.
I did, yeah.
Did you? So you kind of understand. And some of the rules, like, we're kind of figuring out as we go, just full disclosure to everyone. But I think we got it down for the most part. Hey, now let's introduce everyone to the categories. All right. So for anyone that didn't watch last week's Tic Tac Toe Hold is basically like the old Tic Tac Toe game that Wink Martindale used to host when I was a kid. A lot of y'all are too young for that. But so yeah, let's introduce the categories now. First category in the I'm going to be a little bit better at describing the board and everything for everyone that's just listening at home, because it's a little bit more video friendly than it is audio. So I'm going to try to be mindful of that for y'all. So yeah, anyways, the first category in the upper left-hand space is mid-90s WWF. And in the upper middle square, we have Pot Puree. Hope I pronounced that right. And in the upper right square, we have Degeneration Quiz. And on the left, how do I say this correctly? In the middle left square, we have 1, 2, 3, 6 quiz. In the middle square, we have X-Pop quiz. In the left middle square, we have World Championship questions. In the bottom left, we have Attitude Exam. The bottom middle square, we have Sean Stumpers. And in the bottom right square, last but not least, we have new world questions. So, all right. You guys want to get going?
Let's go, yeah.
That sounds
Right.
good. Yeah.
Hey, so I think we're going to let Gerard start. Is that how it was? Did we decide that? Are we letting Gerard start, EJ?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Cool.
Gerard,
You know-
after you, my friend.
Thanks.
Gerard, can you see the board?
I can, yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make your pick.
I'll go for X-Pop quiz.
X-Pop quiz in the middle square.
Middle square, yes.
Okay. What was, first of all, it says Xbox, but I don't like talking about myself in the third person, so forgive me.
Yeah.
What was my first singles championship after arriving back in the WWF?
It was the European title.
Ding, 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 ding. Correct.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't have the soundboard yet with all
Sorry,
the,
you haven't got that yet, no.
Yeah, no. We're
No,
working
that's
on
like
it.
very natural. No, natural.
Ding, 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 ding. All right. EJ,
Yo,
what make your pick?
I'm gonna go with Degeneration Quiz.
Degeneration quiz in the upper right square. Okay. EJ, what year did the second iteration of DX officially dissolve?
Mm.
That's kind of a hard one.
Thanks. I agree. The second iteration, I'm gonna say 2001.
You were close. 2000, EJ.
Damn. And that was my first gut response. I should have stuck with it.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Gerard,
Back to
make your next pick.
I'll go for mid-90s WWF.
In 90s WWF in the upper right hand square. All right. Okay. Which woman defeated Alundra Blaze at the 1995 WWF SummerSlam for the WWF Women's Championship?
That was Bertha Faye.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. Damn, man.
Thank you.
Hey, EJ.
I remember a time you and Hakushi.
Hey, oh, yeah. No, was
Really
it
good match.
95?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I matched with. I really enjoyed that with Hakushi. I don't know why I thought Alundra Blaze worked with Bull Nakano in that one.
That was
So
94, I think.
See,
Yeah,
that's what
I-
I was thinking too. Good thing I didn't
Yeah.
answer
Right?
that one.
Yeah, some. So EJ, hey man, real quick. Hey, I hear you're a comedian. You work with you do stuff with Second City?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Right
Yeah,
on.
we're supposed to be going back next month. So whenever you're in town, let me know.
Hey, so I did not to get all up into the weeds, but like I went to do this thing at Second City here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I was hosting. It was like an improv thing. And I thought all I had to do was host. So I ate like a couple 100 milligrams of edibles. And then they're like, want me to participate. It was so bad. And like freaking Becky Lynch and a couple other people came to see me. They were out in the crowd. And I was like, oh my God, this sucks so fucking bad.
Yeah, I've never been that bold. I've
No.
done it on shrooms before, and that was a fun experience. We'll talk about
Oh
that.
yeah, I could see doing that.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
fun. I really believed it.
Oh my God. So anyways, EJ, make your pick.
All right, I got to do some defense here and go with new world question. Please.
New world questions. For the block in the bottom right square. Okay. EJ, for the block. What WCW pay-per-view did Kevin Nash powerbomb Eric Bischoff off the stage at? Hey, some of these are hard, really hard. Last week they weren't as hard.
No.
They're like, oh damn! I should have smoked before this.
I shit on some of the questions last week,
And then they got
and
super
now they
hard.
made them really hard.
Like, all right, what day was it and how was the weather? All right.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna go with.
This is bullshit. This is rigged.
I know. The game was never rigged for me to win, man. We'll talk about it.
This game is fucking racist.
Help me. I'm gonna go with Sold Out.
Great American Bash.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn, man. Man, I feel really bad about this. He's getting all the easy questions. You're getting all the hard.
It's fine. No, I'm gonna come back. This is it's gonna be I feel it.
Hey, Gerard.
I'll have to go new world questions.
Yeah.
Sorry, EJ.
No, you're gonna be sorry, Gerard.
Okay. Which wrestler played NWO Sting?
Jeff Farmer.
Ding, 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 ding. Correct, Gerard. Hey, so hey, can somebody come in and let me know if we have time for round two? Because I feel really bad here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I think if you want to do a round two, we could do a round two.
This is fucking bullshit, EJ.
Michael, do we have another game board? I don't. Michael's not. Yes.
We're ready for a round two. If EJ's ready, because EJ didn't show up the first round. So
Right.
EJ.
All right, listen.
Oh, what happened to EJ? Oh, there he is.
He's back.
Yeah, so everyone that's listening at home, if you might have guessed, EJ is black. Since I said racist thing, everyone's what? Anyways, sorry, EJ.
It's all right. It happens. All
This
right, I'm
bullshit.
ready. I'm ready, Gerard.
All right, hey, so I'm gonna list the categories. Okay, everyone. In the next board, we have in the upper left-hand square, we have attitude exam. In the upper middle square, we have X-Pop quiz. In the upper right square, we have world championship questions. In the middle right, in the left middle square, we have mid-90s WWF. In the middle square, we have 1, 2, 3, 6 quiz. In the middle right square, we have Sean Stumpers. In the bottom left, we have new world questions. In the bottom middle, we have Degeneration quiz. And rounding them out in the bottom right-hand square, we have pot puree. All right. Hey, EJ, you get to go first.
Yeah.
It's awful nice of us.
Finally, thank you. I'm gonna go with potpourri, please. Potpourri.
Okay. Potpourri in the bottom right-hand square. All right. Okay, pot puree. It's the category is, if you might have guessed, cannabis related. So, all right, EJ, what do you call a strain of weed that makes you tired?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with indica, Sean.
Ding, 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 ding. Boom!
My category.
Fucking boom, bitch. EJ on the board.
Oh.
Hey, should we? Yeah.
Watch me get too confident now. I'm going to talk too much shit.
All right. Okay, so you got the square. All right.
Okay.
Gerard, make your
I'll
pick.
go for World Championship questions.
World Championship questions. At least you can tell I know what the hell I'm doing here. I'm very organized. Oh, there it is. Sorry. All right, Gerard. Here we go. Who was the final WCW champion in WCW?
It was Booker T.
You got it. Ding, 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 ding. All right.
Cool.
Gerard got EJ has the bottom right square, and Gerard has the upper right square. So EJ, your turn.
All right. I'm going to go with D-Generation Quiz.
Degeneration quiz in the bottom middle square. Wow. Play the Benny Hill music. Okay. Who is the shortest member in Degeneration X history?
Haha. That's Hornswoggle.
Boom! Ding, 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 ding. EJ crushing it in this round. Crushing it.
Comeback.
Yeah, I told you.
Gerard, I'm assuming you're going to go for the block.
I will, yeah, for new world questions.
Gerard, new world questions for the block. True or false? Scott Steiner was an original member of the NWO Wolfpack.
Is false.
Ding, 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 ding. For the block. Successful block by Gerard. Wow.
Good job, Gerard.
Wow,
Yes, it is now.
This is a highly competitive game we have going here. Okay. EJ.
All right. I'm going to go with Attitude Exam.
Hey, EJ. Oh, EJ, are you?
What's
Oh,
up?
never mind. Man, I'm just sorry. I'm having a brain fart here. I couldn't see who had which. Okay. Did you say Attitude Exam?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to go for the block?
No.
Oh, I'm joking, man. This is why. God, my downfall as a child comes back to haunt me. What? I meant 1, 2, 3, 6
Six
quiz.
quiz.
I was joking,
Yeah.
I knew that.
right?
I was just playing along with you.
I was looking. I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what I meant, Gerard."
All right. Here we go. All right. Oh, wow. All right, here we go. Wow, these are tough. All right. Okay, EJ. What were two of the names I went by in the ring before becoming 1, 2, 3 Kid?
Oh crap.
You remember my original name?
Isn't it Lightning Kid?
Okay, that's one.
Oh.
And now all you have to do is remember one of those names that I used while I was getting squashed by Doink and
Mr.
Curtis
Hughes,
Hughes. Yeah.
I want to. All right, I'm gonna go with my gut here. My soul. It says Pegasus Kid.
No, I'm sorry, EJ. Yeah, no.
Cannonball.
No. One of them was Cannonball Kid, Kamikaze Kid.
Yeah, come on.
And when I wrestled Scott, it was the Kid. The Kid.
Damn.
I'm sorry, EJ.
No, I'm sorry. I let you down.
I've been trying to stack the deck for you. Okay, Gerard.
I gotta go 1, 2, 3, 6 quiz. Sorry, EJ. But I might get it, so I don't want to be too overconfident.
Yeah, don't get too cocky, Gerard. I don't
No.
All right. Okay, Gerard. Who was the 1, 2, 3 kids? Okay, for the win, by the way. Who was the 1, 2, 3 kids final WWF match against?
Was it Mark Merrow?
That's a really, really good guess. And honestly, I probably would have guessed that too. But wrong. Apparently it was. Apparently it was Savio Vega.
Oh. I love that you say apparently. You're like, apparently.
I can't remember, but
you know, it was a little sketchy at the time. All right,
cool.
EJ.
Cool.
All right, I'm going to take it back to the 1, 2, 3, 6 quiz for the block.
For the block. All right. Okay. So EJ, for the block, you're familiar with the infamous curtain call.
Yes.
Okay. The question is, was I involved in the curtain call?
No.
Ding, 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 ding. Successful. Blocked by EJ, baby. Yeah. Still in the game. Yeah. A lot of people, like, I still got the heat for it, even though I wasn't there. So,
Guilty by association.
Yeah. Like, I was actually in rehab at the time. My very first stint in rehab. Very successful one, by the way. All right.
I have
Gerard.
to go for the block again. X-Pop quiz.
X-Pop quiz.
Oh, wait a minute.
You can.
Account
EJ, like, has got. He could win it. Yeah.
He could win the whole thing here. Yeah. I'll go X-Pop quiz either way. Anyway, I hope he gets the next one wrong.
Okay. Okay. Right. Gerard, who did I win the WWE Tag Team Championships with twice?
Kane?
Ding, 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 ding. Correct. For the block, but
you still got a chance.
Still vulnerable.
Yeah. All right. All right, here we go. Sean for the win. The definite win. I'm going to talk my trash. The definite win. I'm going to go with Attitude Damn.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the possible win. Okay. EJ, for the win. What was the name of the stable that was formed when Vince McMahon and The Undertaker aligned?
Psych, I know this one. It's the corporate.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. For the win, the winner. EJ. So it's 1-1. Hey, maybe we could come back. Like, you guys could come back again or something for the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Hey, there are no losers today, folks. Everyone's a winner.
We're all winners. Yeah.
Yes. Hey,
like the co-winners, they're all rumblers.
Hey, first, real quick. Hey, Gerard. Hey, can you tell everyone where to find you on social media and things like that? Anything you want to plug?
I don't have that much really. I'm just on YouTube. Eyes of Rust is my name on that. just kind of like a lot of concert footage and stuff like that.
Say that again.
It's Eyes of Rust.
Eyes of Rust.
Rust, yeah.
Like
It's like
Rust?
just like stuff from like Rust. Yeah, it's just stuff from footage I shot at, like
Right on.
concerts mainly.
Okay, cool, man. Hey, Gerard, thank you so much for it's. I don't know what time it is there, but it's probably not.
It's not too late. It's 11:30 now. But,
All right.
I don't
Well,
mind.
anyways, thank you,
It's
Gerard.
cool.
I really
Thanks a lot
appreciate
for
you
having
coming
me.
on,
It's
man.
Really cool to see you. Congratulations on the Hall of
Thank
Fame.
you, man. Hey, and EJ, hey, will you plug your stuff? Tell everyone what you got going on, social media, all that.
Gladly. Yeah, find me on Twitter, EJ_Cam, CAM19. Instagram, I'm EZJesus19. That's with 4 E's and then a Z and then 2 E's, J, 3 E's, ZUS19. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Check me out. I'm doing stuff online, secondcity.com. Check it out if you want. And yeah, stay healthy, stay happy.
Thank you, man. Hey, I really appreciate both of you guys coming on, and I hope y'all had a good time, man.
That was
Like I
great
said,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress.
Dude, this
Yeah,
is
man,
great.
love
Just the
them.
fact that I'm talking to you is such a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm playing is super cool, but this is huge.
Oh, shit. All right, everyone. There you have it for this week's edition of Tic Tac Toe Hold. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again to this episode of Pro Wrestling for Life. Hey, I want to thank Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Dave LaGreca for coming on. I really appreciate you guys. And what we have coming up next week, Nick?
Well, as you alluded to at the top of the show, yeah, next week we have a huge guest on the show. Someone I don't think that you thought was actually going to do this interview for whatever reason, but we have the total package. Lex Luger is going to be in the house. You guys are going to be talking about your time in WCW, a lot of other stuff, and
Yes.
and we're going to have Fightful Sean Ross Sapp on here next week as well, talking to you about when you brought 1 2 3 Kid back and you worked in Chikara there for a little bit with Sami Zayn.
That'll be an interesting combo.
Now, and of course, the finals of Tic Tac Toe Hold between EJ and Gerard will go down.
Yes, the big showdown, the big Tic Tac Toe Hold showdown between EJ Cameron and Gerard Bowes.
Yeah. So if you want to be considered as a contestant for Tic Tac Toe Hold, or you want to find out about more things Sean is doing that are fun engagement things for fans, if you want to watch all of the Xbox 1 2 360 archives, or we're getting there, they should all be up here by the end of the month. It's a process. It's a whole ton of video, but they're all getting moved over there. Of course, the ad-free version of this show in video and audio form, and so much more. It's only $5. It's the kid level. Go over to patreon.com/ProWrestForLife. We have a Pro Wrestling Tees store. We have @ProWrestForLife over on Twitter. We're gonna get the Instagram going, and of course, if you are listening to the show and you want to watch and you want to see what Tic Tac Toe Hold look like, you want to see what Sean's like when he's talking to his guests, youtube.com/XPac. That is the place to go to subscribe. And we're going to, at the top of next month, Sean, so the full-length Ric Flair interview that is available in the Patreon right now for subscribers. After a month lapses, we're going to start adding those to the YouTube channel. So you'll be able to get, starting at the top of next month, the full video version of the show, and a full interview will drop there each week as well. So two big
good.
content. Yeah, wonderful.
Nice.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah, that's good. I did that right.
I appreciate you, Nick.
We appreciate
You're on top of shit.
Most days I try. I don't know. Did you get my text? I was on Peacock this morning. And
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be on Peacock tonight. You know.
Yes. Tonight. Yes.
It's been a good little
All right.
day.
Hey, Nick. Thank you, man.
No problem. No
I
problem.
appreciate everything. Hey, everybody. Hopefully we see you right here next week on Pro Wrestling for Life.